You're listening to the Freedom is Served podcast with me, Steph Ward. Subscribe for more. Welcome to Freedom is Served. Today I am joined by the wonderful Bobbie Logan. Hi, Bobbie.
Hi, Steph.
How are you?
Great. Glad to be here. Thank you for asking me to join you.
I'm really, really pleased to have you on today. Just tell the listeners and the viewers a little bit more about yourself, because you've got a bookkeeping business called Wanderfully Balanced, but you also are very much an empowerment for female mindset around money management. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So I am a multi-award-winning bookkeeper running an accountancy and bookkeeping practice to help women feel empowered by the finances and
Nice.
to create a safe space where they can ask questions around money and finances without being judged, and get to understand and get clarity on their numbers so they can master their money.
Love it. And what was your motivation behind, breaking societal norms and doing something different? Because there's traditional bookkeepers and accountancy firms, and then there's what I know to be true of you, Bobbie. And you do like to break the norms, and I love that and respect that, which is obviously why we're here having this conversation. So just give me a few key tips of why, how have we got here? What's made you want to be different?
So I naturally actually started my career in accounting
Yeah.
and then ended up having a bit of a career break and, a little bit of a mental breakdown. And it was actually, the accolade was actually my grandma who had a stroke because of financial stress.
Okay.
And I was living with her at the time, literally surviving off her state pension, not realizing that actually, she wasn't great financially herself. She was
Yeah.
running a business that was getting into debts, and they lost control of the debts and had no financial visibility whatsoever.
Okay.
And she resulted in having the stroke because of the financial stress.
Yeah.
And that was my calling point, where I was like, I've learned all these skills in accounting. I've learned all this structure of how to manage money.
Yeah.
Yet I just assumed that everyone older than me knew how to manage money. And
Okay.
actually it just came apparent that it was far from the truth,
Yeah.
that we didn't have financial education in schools. And luckily now it is becoming compulsory to
Nice.
be educated in school, so that's great. But
Yeah.
now it's like, what about the generations of us that didn't learn that in school?
Yeah.
And how could, especially when you start out in business as an entrepreneur, and if you're not don't understand how to manage your money personally, and then there's a whole nother system of money management to learn through business,
Yeah.
it can get very overwhelming. And through working in accountancy practices as well, I felt like the accountants were very much black and white, and this is right, that's wrong, the
Yeah.
client shouldn't do this, the client should do that. And instead of actually having an open conversation with the clients, they would just say to me like, no, you're not putting that through, no, we're not having that through. But actually, if we was to have the conversation with the client and learn what the client's actually doing and their mission, and
Yeah.
really understand why certain expenses have been put through the business, and actually it is 100% a business expense, just
Yeah.
having general conversations like that with them, they weren't being had. And I think that's why I kind of wanted to have a break from the accounting industry, because I was questioning whether it was actually for me.
Yeah.
And from the calling of what financial stress can result in, to
Yeah.
me that was my calling to say, why can't I be that person that is there to support people with the questions that they have, that they're scared of asking, and of asking if an expense can be put through a business without feeling like they're going to be judged and just told no.
Yeah.
So
So it's
yeah,
that openness that I feel that you really, people warm to you because they want to, work with somebody and trust and, have somebody who actually wants to educate, not just say yes or no. There's
mm,
often reasons behind why you can or can't do something, but is that the question you're asking why, or are you just asking and accepting a yes or no answer? And most people just accept the yes or no answer, and therefore
Mm.
they don't actually learn anything.
Yeah, and they don't want to actually understand what the client is working towards, what are their goals.
Yeah,
That, it's not just about what transactions are being put through the business and just looking at them as numbers. It's about understanding what those numbers actually mean to the client.
yeah,
What is the
definitely.
client working towards achieving? I mean, I've invested a lot in my own personal development, and that is quite a bit of an expense that goes through businesses. And that is the type of people that I work with, the clients I work with, who are investing in themselves. They're investing in their education, they're investing in their business. And it could scare accountants when they see transactions coming through for like business coaching, because they're like, this isn't what that business should be doing. And
Mm.
actually, they want to grow their business and they're passionate about their business. So why aren't they allowed to put personal development and business development in through their business as an expense?
Yeah, I mean, if you're upskilling, if you're learning new skills and you're actually becoming a better person, whether that's through business development or business coaching or anything like that,
Mm.
that's going to have a direct impact on how you can grow your business, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think as well, there's so many people that are afraid of money.
yeah.
They're afraid
Hmm.
to have it. They're probably
Yeah.
afraid to keep it. They don't really know what to do with it. Money for me is a commodity that, in my opinion, there is an infinite amount of money in the world.
In
But
your opinion.
in my opinion, yeah,
In your mind, because that is a massive thing that I have learned through the different people that I've been working with around money mindset,
yeah,
where, our stories may be different around money, they might be the same, but your personal story on money is not everyone's story on money.
yeah,
So you say, that money is infinite, that it's all out there, you just got to go and get it. But there is people that do have that mindset where they're blocked from going and getting more, and they're like, they don't feel like they deserve more. And if they
yeah,
have more, what do they do with that more?
yeah, yeah,
Because, like when you're growing up, I mean, I like I say, everyone's story is different around growing up, but a lot of around where I lived, it was a lot of money doesn't grow on trees, and that
mm,
old cliche saying of, you have to work hard to get money, and you
yeah,
have to work hard to keep your money and things like that. And actually, everyone's mindset is different, and
yeah,
it's about learning what your mindset is so that
yeah,
we can rewire where your beliefs come from for you
yeah,
to then
definitely.
drive forward towards your goals.
Yeah, and when I say it's an infinite resource, what I mean by that is that, if you're trading it in the right way to bring it
Yeah.
into your life or to use it to invest or, even just to spend it on the things you want, if you've got that alignment with the mindset of, okay, what is the purpose of money? Okay, you have critical money that you need for, your essentials of, living, having a roof over your head, eating food, those kind of things. And then what can you use your money for? Okay, well, what can I
Mm.
use my money for is to advance my skill sets. I can use it to grow my business. I can use it for multiple different things. But what isn't infinite to me is time. And
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
I always correlate, how can I have freedom of time? And a lot of the time I can get freedom of time is by using money as the
Mhm.
resource
Mhm.
to free
Yeah.
the time. And I always have this battle of like, well, it's not even a battle, it's just a trade off. You can't have both. I don't think you can
Yeah.
ever have both in infinite amounts. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Um, and I know it probably sounds a bit more simple to just say it like that, but if you have to decide what you want from life, right? And you're the same mindset as this, yeah?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
if we want to help people, to educate them, obviously we have to make some money to do that, because otherwise our basic needs aren't met monetary wise. Therefore, we have to go and find money, and we have less time to invest in what we want
Mm.
to do, which is, help other people. So I
Mhm.
think there's a lot of mindset around that. And I don't know if you've seen the same, but I've certainly seen the same of people who want to help people. They often can have money mindset issues because they don't understand that it's not about making loads of money, but the more money you make, the more freedom you have to be able to help more people.
Yeah, definitely. It's like the whole thing of, you've got to sacrifice either time, money, or skills, and
Yeah.
you've got to invest in any of those avenues, whatever you feel comfortable with. But ultimately, there's something that's got to, you've got to give somewhere, and to, getting more money, like you say, will enable you to free up that time to reinvest into resources like a team member or softwares that are going to support you and help you, AI solutions that will
Yeah,
help you. We're in an era now where it's not always about taking on new team members. Now it's
exactly.
utilizing the tools that are out there that are available, and seeing that as not an expense, but actually it's an investment for you to be able to generate more income,
Yeah,
like you say, to give you back more time so that you have more freedom to make better choices, more
yeah.
choices, bigger choices in your life, and really get to that end goal that I don't like saying end goal actually, but get towards the next goal that you wanted, that
Yeah,
you're working
working
towards.
towards it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
definitely. I mean, you advocate for this as well because
yeah.
you just went away. You were working, right? But you just went away on holiday. Well, I say holiday, work holiday, but you have built a life where you are not restricted by geographical location. So you can
Mm,
work from anywhere in the world. You just
yeah.
chose to go away with your partner. Was it at New Year?
Yeah, literally. We
Yes, you
booked
went
it
away
the
at New
day
Year.
before Christmas Eve and went on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, okay, great. So you just decided you were going to go away, the day before Christmas Eve. You booked it to go before New Year's Eve. You went away and you were working, but you also then had that freedom to be able to do that because you
Hmm.
don't have anybody to answer to. And,
No.
you are living a life that you've designed that you're able to do that. I mean, that feels
Mm-hmm.
amazing. I know that
Mm-hmm.
feels amazing. That must feel amazing for you as well. Like, are you proud of those moments where you can just do that?
I guess now you've just made it come to light, yeah. Um, yeah, and because I have invested in the skills and the time and the money. So
Yeah,
I've invested in all areas for my business,
yeah,
and I've invested in getting a team member in where, whilst I was away, I could feel relaxed because
yeah,
I'd invested in, you know, upskilling that team member so that when I was on holiday, I didn't
yeah,
have to sit there thinking, oh God, that needs doing. Oh, that client. Oh, I forgot
yeah,
that. Because I know that in the background, things are under control. Somebody's there, somebody's doing it all for me. But
yeah.
my role is to come in and check over that. And it also, whilst I was away, it was my creativity that got like activated. And that
Yeah,
is where, through investing in the skills and getting team members on board, it then gives me that space to be creative, to be able to build what I'm building. Like, for example, the business is Wanderfully Balanced, and that is all about, you know, starting out as a business. You don't necessarily know where you are. You might start out as a wanderer, not necessarily knowing what sort of direction you're going in business. And the
yeah,
idea is that we are with you along that journey. We
yeah,
take you along that journey wherever you are, wherever you start out, whether you're at the startup phase or the growth phase, we're going to help you through the next phases of business. And then it's also an amalgamation of the fact that I love to wander and I love traveling. So,
yeah.
and
But
yeah,
amazing, right? You know you love traveling, you live by that, and you're
mm,
congruent with what you want to do. So
yeah,
okay, well, I have designed a business that I can work from anywhere in the world. I love traveling. It's your passion, which I know you spoke about to me many, many times.
yeah.
And now you're able to combine both. And that's living.
Mm,
That's like
mm,
really having that freedom to live your life. I think
mm.
that's incredible. I love it.
Like now, I'm literally in a hotel room as we speak. I don't think I've been home much this year.
So you're here, there, and everywhere, but you're making it happen. And that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, there's a lot of people who would go, "Oh, it's all right for her." Well, yeah, I'd love to do that. Okay, well, are you taking any actions to actually
Mm,
make that happen? And you are, and you're living proof that it can be possible to do it all. But doing it all isn't, this everything's amazing. You're
mm,
authentic as well. We've had conversations about it's really hard being an entrepreneur It's
Mm.
really, really hard
Mm.
being a business owner. Some days are like, oh my God, why am I doing this? And the next day it's like, oh wow, this is good. And you're
Oh
like
God, how many
on
times have you heard me cry?
constant roller coaster, right? Of just like these ups and downs. And but I wouldn't have it any other way, would you?
No, I think, when I am feeling really down and like in pain, I just say, you know what, I've been through so much more worse pain. This is
Yeah,
just the little stub of the toe. We're gonna get through it, and actually learning and thinking, what can I learn from this experience?
yes,
There are times that it's very difficult, losing clients or clients leaving, and things that happen, and it's heartbreaking, especially when you're so passionate about the work that you do.
yeah.
It is so hard not to take something personally, but I think that is one of the biggest things that I am learning in entrepreneurship, to literally just not take everything personally.
Yeah. I mean, you've won multiple awards now and you just like light up the room when you come in, not just because you wear pink and you cartwheel everywhere you go, but because you're just a brilliant, lovely personality to be around. And I know, being in some same networks as you, it's been really, really nice to share those experiences with somebody who's upbeat and positive, but also very, very real. And I
Mm,
think it's the realness that actually people resonate with you because you have I don't know if you have a big social media following, but you have like a consistent social media following, don't you?
yeah.
And I think you're very, very real on your social media.
Mm,
Like you're not just the Instagram, like, oh, everything's perfect. Like, I'm not saying
no.
your life isn't perfect either, but what I mean is it's real and it's raw.
Mm,
And sometimes, like, people really respect that
mm,
because
mhm.
there's so much out there that is just bullshit.
Yeah,
Like, it
that
just
it is
is,
so true.
you
It's so
know,
true. Like, I've just shared today about the story of one of my clients that's actually, we had a money day together, and then within less than 48 hours they've gone out and actually make 8K in sales. And I was like,
amazing.
but I was scared to share that, because part of me, when I see on social media where coaches put in like, my clients made 10K a month, or having 10K months, and they've made this amount, they've made that amount, it
Yeah.
actually hurts me a little bit when I see it, because I think to myself, I feel sorry for their client.
Mm,
I'm just assuming here, right? This is my mindset. I am just
yeah.
assuming that these clients who they are getting to generate more income, I think to myself, that's amazing, brilliant achievement. But do they actually know their numbers? Like, do
Yeah.
they know when that 10K is going to run out? Do they
Mm,
know when they need to take that next step to make more sales? Do they
yeah.
know what they're going to be left over with at the end of the week after that 10K has been hit their bank account? And they're the things that, like, go through my head when I see those kind of posts.
Yeah.
And obviously, I have sort of shared that today, but for me, that it's not about the fact that my client's gone and made that amount of money. It's about the fact that through them getting that clarity, that they
Yeah.
have now taken action immediately and got a result immediately.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, well done to you and obviously your client as well. Like,
Mm.
incredible results. But I think that just shows if you're open to the mindset, especially around money as well. I think a lot of people just bury their heads in the sand.
Oh yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I've helped some people before who were, like, oh God, no, I'm in debt, I'm this, I'm that, and
Mm.
whatever. And when we actually sat down and went through it, it wasn't even as bad as they thought. But
Yeah.
because they'd put off even looking, they'd
Mhm.
been winding themselves up, like getting
Yeah.
in a real tiz about it and stuff. And then actually, the next day, so this person, I won't mention their name, but the next day they messaged me and they were like, I have never slept so well in my life.
Mm.
Like, I wish I'd looked at this months ago.
Yeah.
And it's just like the
That is
power of having that
exactly.
clarity.
Yeah, it's exactly why I do the work I do, because it is it numbers isn't sexy, right? Finance isn't sexy. We all know that. Even, sometimes, and this is what I say, even me as the expert, in numbers, like it, if I leave it too long before I look at my own numbers, I feel that. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And that's why I said expert is because we're in inverted fingers for those that can't see on film, is because it's about just having that routine of checking in. And
yeah,
when you check in, you know where you're at, so you can then sleep better at night. Because even if it's never as bad as you make it out to be until
yeah,
you actually, and debt's not bad as long as you know the figure of debt that you owe. I like
yeah,
that rhyme. As long as you know what you owe, as long as you know what you owe and have a plan to pay that down,
yeah.
then and you stay consistent and keep checking in with it, you'll feel so much better. But that's where the overwhelm does come in when you're avoiding it, because it's just that sicky feeling. I know, I get it. I get it
Yeah.
myself when I've left it too long. And that's
And
why
that's
I've
the thing.
now implemented the money date.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I love that. The money date where you actually check your figures.
Mm,
That's a really, really good one. For me, like I think most people have a very, very different mindset from how I have between business finance and personal finance.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
don't think there's a lot of education around the fact
nope.
that they are two completely separate things. They
Hmm.
should be treated as two completely separate things. And whilst your mindset around what you think from a personal finance point of view may tip into your business, like you have to be different. So, like debt, for example, which you've just brought up,
Hmm.
being in personal debt because you've bought too many things as a consumer is
Hmm.
one thing. But again, like you say, if you know that figure and you have a plan to pay it back and you're able to do that, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not shameful. Like debt isn't shameful.
No.
It's just like if you can learn from that of okay, I don't want to stay in debt and I want to, do things differently, then that's a different thing. I don't know any business, I'm sure it's happened, but I personally don't know any business that hasn't had to go into debt to make more money.
Yeah.
Like I just don't I actually don't think it's possible.
And the ones that don't go into debt are the
Yeah.
ones that fail.
Yeah. I would agree. Yeah, I completely agree because they don't understand, well, for me it's the laws of advancement. Obviously you've got to go down to
Mm.
go up, but you can't start a business and have the resources that you need, the skill set that you need, everything that you need without putting the money out first. Like it just
Mhm.
doesn't work like that. And if it did, everyone
It's
would do
like you said, like say that it is either your a debt, it's not just a monetary debt, it is the skill debt, the time debt, or money debt.
yeah,
Either of those three, you have got to give up somewhere, you have got to invest in somewhere. And
yeah,
yeah, 9 times out of 10, it is the money element of it that to invest in. But when business owners are at the startup phase as well, and like you say, going through that transition of mindset from personal debt to business debt, it's
yeah,
hard to understand return on investment and what that
yeah,
actually means. So, like for a business owner, the return on investment is that for you to set out that KPI of what is it that you want to get from that investment and how are you going to track that so you
yeah,
can actually see the result from that investment coming into your business. So it's
yeah,
not about
definitely.
going out buying flash cars and getting company vehicles when you haven't got any income generating coming in, but it's
Yeah.
about investing in the areas that are going to help you make more money.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a prime example right now is I'm about to take on my first, full-time team member. I know you've got a team member as well, and it's a scary prospect when you first do that. But actually, when you look at the numbers, I'm buying back my time because
Yeah.
I'm busy doing lots of things that actually somebody else could do. So I can free that time up from what I've
Hmm.
bought back by somebody else doing it to actually go out and generate more income for the business.
Yeah.
And when you can then, like, that is the return on investment, like you've just mentioned. When I can calculate, okay, how much time will I save if somebody else
Hmm.
does these jobs, this, and this? And how much more time, how much more potential income can I generate by using that time to generate more income? Okay, well, that is far out it's going to outweigh far beyond what I'm paying that person, like
Yeah.
far beyond. And
Hmm.
so, but again, it comes down to mindset, because I don't talk about my business all the time necessarily with, um, you know, like family or people like that, because they don't have the same mindset as me. So I know they'll be like, oh my god, like how can you take somebody on,
Yeah.
what are you how do you know, like, you haven't, this business hasn't been going a year or whatever. And I'm like, but you don't understand what it costs me to not take them on.
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at it. What's it
Yeah.
cost me to not
I
take
had
them on?
that as a like that comment, the comment of, well, why are you paying somebody when you're not paying yourself so much? And it's like, this is what a business owner is. And a caveat to that, you must pay yourself something because it's
Yes.
your business. And if you're not paying yourself something, you're not feeling the reward of the business.
Mm.
So even if it's, a little bit here and there, make sure you're giving yourself some sort of reward because that will just keep that motivation up for the business.
Yeah, I mean, the first time we ever kind of spoke about that, and well, I still am shocked, to be honest. I'm very, very shocked that people don't pay themselves a wage out of their business.
Mm,
Like,
yeah,
that just shocks me, because I just thought, well, that's just what you do. Obviously, you do that. Otherwise, how do you run your business? But yeah, that
it does
definitely shocks
happen.
me the first time that was mentioned. But it's true for a lot of people, and a lot of
Mm,
people out there just, and it's not because they're trying to, and I'm not saying they're doing it wrong either, but they're not trying to do anything. It's just because you don't know what you don't know, right?
mhm, mhm. And when we think about, I'm just with you mentioning about you bringing on a new team member. It's funny because I actually had a conversation with myself this morning because I'm going through a phase now where, so my first employee is leaving. She wants to go off and do some traveling. So that's amazing for her.
Yeah,
And I have had to get somebody in to replace her. So I'm bringing somebody in, and we're currently literally, well, from next week, we're going through that transition period where we have got 2 months of them both like working with each other before the first one goes off traveling.
yeah,
And I was really anxious this morning, and I was getting really emotional because I realised it's because my mindset is slightly different to what I know of a mindset for other accountancy practice owners, because
yeah,
usually with accountancy practice owners and bookkeeping practice owners, they love doing the bookkeeping, they love doing the accounting. So all they care about is not all they care about, but what
yeah,
they enjoy is doing those tasks itself, so they can, and it's not necessarily the right way to do it, where keep taking the client work on and doing the client work yourself until you get to that bottleneck and realize actually I need some support.
yeah,
Whereas for me it is literally, I'm like, I need that support now. I need somebody doing all of the
yeah,
client work so I can focus on the areas that do lighten me up, because
yeah,
it does. I love helping my clients and I love helping them get that clarity
yeah,
through, speaking, having the meetings and running through the reports and stuff. But actually doing the tasks itself is not something that enlightens me. And I think that's why I kind of had a bit of the breakthrough accounting, because like I say, I didn't really enjoy it. But it is now things like this, having conversations like this, having conversations with the clients of, what are your goals, what we're working towards, like, let's go, this is where we're
yeah,
heading. Those sort of conversations, that's where my passion lies.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's what I'm worried about with bringing the team member on is, I hope that 2 months is long enough for her to pick up everything that she needs to pick up so that everything continues to get done without me having to get too deeply involved.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it will be. I know you're very, very, a culture-led business, not just a
Mm,
task-driven business, which makes such a
yeah.
difference as well, like taking somebody on and setting the expectations of the culture rather
Mm,
than the task itself, even though I'm sure obviously there is a task element to it. But, you're bringing somebody into a way of life, whether that's your
mm,
business way of life or your own way of life. And having somebody, it's refreshing. Like, I think it's genuinely refreshing to
mm,
have people that are running businesses and taking people on, and they actually want to empower them to do the work, to do the job, to do the right thing to free you up so you can concentrate on what you want to
Yeah.
do, knowing that they love it and you love it, like it's a win-win. It's
Yeah,
massively a
exactly.
win-win. So my final question for you, Bobbie, would be if you can help somebody to gain freedom and clarity over their money mindset, what kind of tip would you give them?
Money day.
Money day.
Schedule
So
it
that's the
in the
day where you sit
diary.
and look for everything, is it?
Yeah, well, to get started, if you've not been, you've not got any routine at the moment, you're just winging everything,
Yeah.
literally just choose one task that is in. So whether that means, okay, this week I'm going to check my income, what income have I generated? Or if that's too easy, because it's easy to find what income you generated, like especially with things, if you're using just Stripe, for example, to get income, you can easily run reports through there, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's worth, picking a category of expenses to look at and just start looking through, or just start small.
So like
Start with,
fact finding.
yeah. And then once you start to get comfortable with your routine, add on to it. Don't go I'm not telling you to go full force and do a full end-to-end bookkeeping on your first money date, because believe me, you ain't having another money date. But that's the purpose. So, put yourself in a comfortable, relaxing environment, something that feels sexy, something that feels energizing for you, that
Yeah.
you're excited to do, and in an exciting environment, and just sit with it, and just paying attention and actually looking at it. Like you said earlier with the debt and things like that, if you don't have the clarity, that is where the overwhelm comes in.
Yeah,
So just
definitely.
knowing the figures, and just sitting with them, you will have a better sleep.
Yeah. And would you do you do a separate money date for your personal and a separate one for your business? Are
I
you,
do
yeah?
personally, yeah.
So you're
I do,
really
yeah.
keeping it as clean as possible,
Yeah.
one at a time. That's
Yeah,
really
because I get Simon, my partner, involved in the personal one.
nice.
So I'll put all the graphs and charts together and go, here you go, this is how much savings we've got, this is how much we've spent.
And what
So
does he think? Does he embrace the money date?
yeah, he does actually. He does enjoy it. He enjoys getting the copies of the of the chart.
Nice. That's
It,
so
it
good.
basically he just says to me, have we got money? Have we got a lot saved? Are we on target? But we have those, then that brings out the conversations of, right, okay, so yeah, we're on track to our targets of our goals of savings. What are we saving for? And
Yeah.
we have that conversation.
Yeah.
And it's important to still have that as a business owner as well, even if the conversations are just with yourself,
Yeah.
to actually still write them down, maybe
Yeah.
journal out what am I saving for, or what targets why am I going for this sales target, what is that actually going to give me,
Yeah.
and making something tangible out of it.
Nice. I love
Oh, I
that.
could go on forever.
Thank you so much for your advice, Bobbie. It's been super, super helpful. And thank you very much for joining me
You're
today.
welcome.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you. I know we'll be seeing a lot more of you on social media and off social media in the future. Big things are coming for you because I know how hard you're working. So keep doing what you're doing. We love your energy. We love your money mindset. And thank you for educating so many women across the nation with just how they can overcome any money mindset issues.
Thank you so much for having me, Steph.
Take
Mwah.
care. We'll see you soon. You're listening to the Freedom is Served podcast with me, Steph Ward. Subscribe for more.